Hello everyone and welcome to the Los Angeles Open Series. I'm Glenn Jones and I'm joined in the booth by Los Angeles import, Ben Lundquist. How are you doing in the tournament so far? Let's kick it off with that.
4-0 right now.
Alright, pretty strong. Yeah. You're playing the white-based aggressive Boros deck. We've actually seen a couple other flavors of Boros in the tournament and just in Standard in general. But one of the major selling points of this deck, obviously, the new Theros Weenie Beater, Soldier of the Pantheon. Really strong, probably one of the 10 most powerful cards in the set, give or take. And combined with M14 Reprint Brave the Elements, you've got just the white creature beatdown army going. So tell me, what made you want to play this deck for this tournament?
Compared to like a normal red deck, you're saying?
Sure. Sure.
Well, I am not actually very familiar with the format. I haven't played since, I don't know, March of the last Standard. So I knew people were playing Esper, which is what I was playing now. And I felt like if I just picked it up, I'd be a little bit behind everyone else. So I wanted to be an aggressive deck, which is actually good against those decks. And that's just where I put my stance. I just wanted to be an aggressive deck. I decided between this and red, and ultimately I just felt like a couple of the card selection differences were what got me on board with this.
Sure. Esper had a pretty big showing just last weekend in Indianapolis, obviously. William Jensen top 8 at the Invitational playing Esper. We also had 2 Esper decks in the finals of the Standard Open in Indianapolis, which pretty strong showing for a deck that hadn't actually done much since its first weekend with Theros. So it makes sense that you choose a deck that you think is a good matchup against Theros. One of the things I like the most about the deck is Precinct Captain, which is just a great threat against a lot of decks right now. Since, usually, especially against Esper, it's like, you have to do something or this guy's going to keep going.
Yeah, he's like, you don't really understand how good he is because when he's connecting, the game's over in a little bit, and when he dies, you're thought, it was a guy and he died.
Lost my bear.
But he presents this clock on his own that people just have to deal with, and they have to deal with it immediately. So it's just pretty awesome to just have a card that puts so much pressure on the opponent immediately.
Okay. Moving a little bit up the curve, we have Ajani Call of the Pride. Now, Ajani, he never really caught on the first time he came out, to put it mildly or politely. But this deck, I've actually seen him getting a little bit of play here. You've got a couple copies. How good has he been for you in the Architect?
He is very good for me. Probably one of the cards that I always want to see in the game. I was told to play I don't know what the weapon is, the white weapon?
Spear of Healing.
The spear, yeah. Kibler told me to play that when I was talking to him last night. So I put one in instead of an Ajani. It was okay when I drew it, but this guy is just insane every single time I drew him. Even on camera, I just top decked it to deal the last 6. Just my opponent was at 6 life, and I just had no way to win, just drew it, flew over the top, and just killed him right there.
Certainly not an option available to Spear of Healing.
Yeah.
Boros Charm, I think, is the biggest attraction to red, of course.
Yeah,
being able to get indestructible, and the 4 damage is no slouch either. White Weenie decks have always suffered from a lack of range, right?
Yep. I refuse to ever play White Weenie again because I played it in, I think it was Time Spiral Block constructed. Maybe?
Sure.
Okay, and there was just no reach. You just get in the last few points of damage, and you just sit there, and you knew it was over. There's no way out of it. But with Boros Charm and just some other cards that give you a little bit of reach, like Ajani, it's way more impressive now.
Now you've made some additions to the list that a lot of people actually haven't in previous lists that we've seen. The one you've done is Frontline Medic. You're running Frontline Medic in the main deck. You've sidelined the Banisher Priest into the sideboard. I guess explain to me, what was your thought process behind that transition?
Well, Frontline Medic is probably one of the best cards in the deck with Mutavault.
Sure, okay.
And its abilities to just make your guys indestructible. Definitely on the 4th turn when you're attacking, it just gives you just so much, board presence that can't really be disrupted.
Against decks like Colossal Gruul that are doing all these Burning Tree emissaries and Holy Crown of Shame, because you just are teaming them with all your guys. It doesn't really matter. You just get in the damage, get in within Boros Charm range.
Yeah. And the reason I played it over Banisher Priest in specific is because Esper is so big. This is just kind of like a 2/2. It doesn't really do anything. It's just 3 mana 2/2. And this has 2 text boxes that can
both be relevant. Obviously being able to sacrifice a counter Stasis Revelation every now and again could probably wind up mattering. Could matter. That said, you are still running the Banisher Priest. It's one of your biggest weapons against Mono Blue Devotion.
Right. Yeah. It's. I also kind of like it against the Mono Black Devotion deck because of the 6/6 flyer.
The Desecration Demon, sure. It's a deck made of like mostly singleton creatures, right? That like deploy a Pack Rat or deploy a Desecration Demon. Obviously, if Blood Baron starts clocking, you might have some issues. But even then, you can actually theoretically race the Blood Baron once, or maybe twice.
I put 1 Mizzy Mortars in my sideboard just for that guy.
Got his number. All right. Well, Ben, you're off to a great start in the tournament. Obviously, several rounds to go. Big event.
How many rounds are there?
There are 10. There are 10 in this 651 person tournament. So I'm going to go ahead and wish you good luck. Thanks for joining me.